Welcome to the COVID Chronicles, episode number 8. We want to talk to you about something a bit more pleasant with this episode. We wanted to talk with you about how our love for each other actually grew and our romance developed even though we were 3/4 of the way around the world from each other. When you really are limited on your contacts, you learn to maximize them and to use them in the best way possible. And so our communication with each other was largely a question of video chats as well as Facebook Messenger and the occasional text. We were 6 hours separated from each other in terms of time, and that complicated things somewhat. I'll tell you one thing and I'll stop and I'll let Lynn give you her thoughts about that as well. Because I rose basically 6 hours earlier than she did each day, and I was up 5 or 6 o'clock in the morning, Zimbabwe time, it was a long wait until noon Eastern time when Lynn would rise. And so I would send her little messages in the meantime. But I would wait until I knew she had roused. And even though I might be in conversations with other people elsewhere in the world, there was only one person I really wanted to welcome into my day again, and that was Lynn.
You've heard absence makes the heart grow fonder. Well, sometimes that does happen. It's like I really missed being with him, and so he's talking about how the time difference was. Well, when I got up at 6 in the morning, it was noon his time, so he had already had all morning. Well, when I got up, I would have messages that were like, "I've been waiting for you, my beautiful wife, my gorgeous wife." Now, I know that may not mean much to you, but it meant a lot to me because he was waiting on me. He had been waiting on me all morning. And instead of saying, "Well, what are you doing now?" he started our conversation with talking about my beautiful wife and my gorgeous wife, and I have been waiting for you to get up. So, yes, sometimes when you've been married as long as we have, and let's just say we've been married a while. We got married in 1977, so you can just kind of add it up. But
we were 12.
Yes, but we had kind of skipped out on how we talked to each other. Not that we were not unkind to each other, but let's just say we did not have as much of the romantic language in our conversation with each other. And so after he got back, he kind of stopped doing that because we were together, and I was like, okay, I missed that. What happened to that? I really liked that. And so he has actually went back to doing that. So when I get up in the morning, there is already a message for me when I hear my phone ding, and I know when it dings early in the morning that it is him, and he has already sent me a loving message. This is actually something else, it kind of goes with it, but I was actually telling him today how that one day while he was gone, we came back from the movie, and it was terrible storms, and I had driven to the movie and came back, and we didn't have any power, and I was sitting I was sitting in the dark that night, and our granddaughter Naomi was with me, and I was like, yes, I love Naomi being with me, but I'm sitting in the dark in a terrible storm. I want Rodney back. So you when you're apart, you just kind of miss the everyday stuff, even storms.
Well, and guys, take it from a dude who's messed up romantically more times than he can count. You can always up your game, but don't ever take your game down a notch, because once you have improved your game, well, your wife expects you to at least play at that level. So if you're batting 500, you need to aim for batting 1,000, but don't go back to batting 295 if you've been batting 500, because it's not going to work out for you very well.
I will tell you that when we got married, I had a terrible low self-esteem, and I did not think I was pretty, so I didn't think I could do anything, didn't think I was smart enough to go to college, and I had a very low self-esteem. And Rodney actually, over the years, has told me, you know, I was beautiful, and he's told me I was smart, and he's pushed me to do more, which actually over the years, it really did help my self-esteem. But let's just say the Zimbabwe trip just kind of upped how we were talking to each other on Messenger.
Well, and the reality is that as much as I appreciate all the communications that I had from so many people, and there were so many kind, prayerful people that not only promised that they would pray, but they checked up on me while I was in Zimbabwe, and I appreciate that. I heard from them in a variety of fashions. That was extremely meaningful to me, but there was only one person that I really longed to be back with. You know, I wanted to see my children, I wanted to see my grandchildren, and I was able to see and talk to more than one of my children with video chats. While I was in Zimbabwe, I was able to see some of my grandchildren and talk to them while I was in Zimbabwe. But the reality is, there was only one person I thought of when I woke up in the morning. And there was only one person I was waiting to talk with every day. Only one person that I was waiting to update, or even if there wasn't an update, just to carry on a conversation with each day. And when I began to make preparations to depart Zimbabwe and make the trip home, there was one person on my mind at every step in the process, that as complicated as it became to make the trip back, there was one person on my mind. I have got to get back. Lynn's always told me when I've left and gone on international mission trips, I don't mind you going as long as you come back. Well, for the first time, there was a real question about when I would be able to return, but I knew I'd made a promise. I was coming home.
Let's just say I reminded him of that promise too.
Yeah, that I was coming home, and that was a priority. And you know, we take less for granted now. The opportunity to just talk about whatever, we don't take for granted now. The opportunity just to sit in the same room, we don't take for granted now. We went to see a movie today. Sitting side by side in a movie was a big deal for us today. The fact that neither one of us are lying in a big empty fed alone at night is something that we do not take for granted now. It really has been a great teachable experience for us. Both of us have learned spiritual lessons that we perhaps would never have learned any other way. But we have learned romantic lessons as well in the midst of this. I mean, it's better than any marriage conference we've ever been to. And, no offense to all the marriage authors that we've read and all the marriage seminar leaders that we've been exposed to along the way. It just did more for us in our relationship with each other than anything else that we've ever been through together as a couple. And after 44 years, we've been through a few things. But this really did synthesize some things that already existed. It stimulated some things that already existed, but it gave birth to some new facets to our relationship that are extremely meaningful to both of us now.